Hi, this is 365801 and this is my BL recommendations and TBR video for the Buzzword Readathon or the 2021 Reading Challenge, and this is for the month of October. It's already October, guys, you know the drill, it's the Buzzword Reading Challenge. If you want to know more, obviously go over to Kayla's channel, that's Books and Lala. She gives you all the information that you need and gives you some great recommendations for books you might want to read for that particular month. Or you can keep on watching and get some BL recommendations from me. So the buzzword for the month of October is elements. Obviously, there are 4 elements. We've got earth, air, fire and water. Those are the 4 words that you could use, which does restrict it a little bit, which is good for me because I like to have a tight TBR. Or you could take a thematic approach. So she suggests for earth, you could use dirt, grass or ground. We've got pond, river, ocean, stream, creek for water. Or you could use ash, burning, smoke for fire. That does mean that there's a lot more that you can branch out into. She gives you some great recommendations. I'm going to show you what I found in my collection. And as usual, I headed on over to my database, my wee spreadsheet, where I knew instantly which title I was going to search for first, which was Earth, because I knew I would have at least one title. And yes, way back in January, as soon as I saw this prompt for the buzzword in October, I knew I would be reading this title, and that is Arthian. This is a 4-volume series by Yun Koga. Yun Koga is the same mangaka that did Loveless, as well as a couple of other things, which I don't own. But everyone gives Loveless such a bad rep that I don't think many people have actually looked at Arthian. Now, I've owned this for a while, but I've just never actually read it. I think I started volume 1 about 4 or 5 years ago. I didn't even finish it, so it's definitely there for me to tackle in the month of October. The next element that I searched for was air, and there was only one thing that came up, and that was all Nippon Air Line, shortened to anal. Yes, it's actually shortened to anal, and this is by Kei Azumaya. And you know what, if I could do anal in October, I would do anal in October, but unfortunately I can't do anal in October, and that is because it's in my other collection, so I'll just have to forego anal in October. So there were no shenanigans when I typed in the word water. Only one title came up, that's Love Water. It's a yaoi novel. I only recently got it, so I haven't read it yet. I'm looking forward to it. This is by Venio Tachibana, the author of 7 Days, so this is bound to be good. She's very well loved, I think, in the BL sphere. And it is illustrated by Toko Miyagi, and I recognise her art style. I think this is... I obviously don't know because I haven't read it, but I do understand that it's like a courtesan. It's probably historical. There'll be a young master, an illicit affair. It's going to be great. I'm looking forward to it. I'm kind of excited. I do like historical pieces, so this looks absolutely fantastic for October. Now for the actual words for the elements, those were all the titles that came up. So then I had to start thinking about the thematic words that could possibly be used. And I did search in my spreadsheet for various words that Kayla had suggested, but nothing really came up. So I thought the best course of action is to just go drawer by drawer and see what I've got and if anything would suit. So that's what I did. So this is the first drawer that I found something in, and I had a wee look and I found Crimson Wind. This is by Duo Brand. Obviously this is a drama queen title. It is Duo Brand though, so just don't hold your breath that I'll actually read it. The next one is Rising Storm. Storm and wind, you know, it's air. This is also obviously drama queen. This is Yuzuha Ogi. Her work is not always the best, so also don't hold your breath that I'll read that one. I do need to though. And lastly, I found Missing Road. This is Shushishu Sakurai. Road is ground. road is earth, right? So maybe I could use that as an earth one. And I am kind of interested in this one just because I do like Shoo 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 Sakurai. It's fun and usually quite smixy. So maybe this one too. The next one I found was Rose of the Rhine by Megumu Minami. I love the artwork, the design of the front cover and the back. It's just lovely. And it seems like a sort of fantasy story, so I'm kind of intrigued. And the Rhine is a river, so it could be used as a water one, couldn't it? Now I did find another Shoo 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 Sakurai, and obviously I'm going to find it because I have so many copies. The Desert Prince. The desert is the earth, so it could be used as an earth prompt. It's a collection of short stories, and I do like Sakurai Shoo Shoo Shoo. Now I thought I would just show this because technically Kayla did mention the word ground that could be used for earth, but unfortunately this is underground hotel, not underground hotel. See, ground has been scored out, so it's definitely not a possibility for me to read. Unfortunately, what a shame. Now one that I could read is Love is Like a Hurricane by Tokiya Shimazaki. Hurricane is obviously another weather type one, air. And I now have volume 1, so I could actually sit down and read this. It is a full 5-volume series, so it might take a while, but I am intrigued. So we end up in one of my Sublime drawers, which is only half full, so it's kind of become a bit of a dumping ground. But in it is Three Wolves Mountain by Bora Naono, and mountain is, according to Kayla, a perfectly fine word to use for earth. I love this. I read it maybe a year and a half ago. I really enjoyed it. It's kind of spooky, so it's perfect for the spooky season. It's got, you know, demons and ghosts and wolf people, so probably a really good one to read in October. There's Taro and Jiro, who are the werewolf brothers, and one of them, whichever is the more wolf one, he's my favourite character. The wolf is my favourite character. So yeah, definitely think about reading that one for October. The next one that I could actually read is a new pickup, and that's Dick Fight Island. Island being ground, the earth. That's Reibun Ike. It is covered in its plastic still, so this would give me an excuse to take off the plastic and sample the delights of Dick Fight Island that everyone has been raving about. So this might be going on my TBR. The next one is also a recent acquisition for me, and that's Canis, Dear Mr. Rain by Zach. I got it secondhand from a lovely person, thank you very much. And it's a Kuma Publishing title, and Kuma just do great quality works. So I'm intrigued. Don't know anything about it, but definitely contender for my TBR. So I went over to my June manga drawer and spotted Intense Rain. So another rain one, another water one. This is by Shinri Fua. I have read this fairly recently. I remember it being disappointing. Not because it's Shinri Fua, I love Shinri Fua, but because the semi was such an arsehole. I didn't want the uke to get with him. I was like, no. So I'm not going to read this. The next one that I spotted was Dry Heat, and I haven't got any for fire yet, so I did think Dry Heat might actually work for the fire aspect. It's a Yugi Yamada title. What's not to love? It's also larger trim, and it's a great quality book. I love it so much. I love Yugi Yamada, so I would quite happily read Dry Heat for this month. Now I had a proper old rummage around in another drawer before I spotted The Spiral of Sand. This is by Yuna Aoi, and I don't actually think I've read this. It says on it that it's a twisted tale of unrequited love, revenge-fueled desire, and near-fatal attraction. Oh, that knows no bounds. So, I don't know, I might pick that one up. It looks interesting. Worth a try. The last physical book that I found was Tsubasa Reservoir Chronicles Omnibus Volume 1 by Clamp. And a reservoir is where you hold water, so it would work if you need this for your TBR for October. Now, after I had searched around in my drawers, I did go over to Leshin just to see if there was anything that came up. And I don't think there was anything using just those 4 words. I did have a wee search around, and I think I found something that had something to do with burning, but nothing with those 4 words. I then went over to Futekia to search their library for any of the elemental words. None came up. So then I checked some of the thematic words, and the first one that came up was The Smoke of Love Sickness. This is by Sawako, but there's only one chapter, so it will be a short read. Smoke being from fire, which is very useful. Then there was Tyrant Boyfriend 6 Underground, the complete edition. This is by, I think, Ukya Iwashimizu. So another one that had ground, so another earth one. Another earth one was A Lotus Flower in the Mud. This is Tamiko. Oh, I have read this already, so I don't need to read it again. But I do recall it being like it's Tamiko. If it's not sweet and smexy, it's sour and smexy. It hurts your heart. So yeah, the Lotus Flower in the Mud I probably won't read. The next one was Passions of Little Wet Mice. This is obviously wet, so it will be water. This is by Rihara. Rihara's work on Futekia looks very pretty, so I would very much like to read this one. Futekia is really useful when it comes to trying to get the Buzzword Readathon done, and the reads are usually quite quick. And The Smoke of Love Sickness is only one chapter, so you could have October done just by reading that one chapter. So of those 4, I think I will just read those 3. I won't reread A Lotus Flower in the Mud, just because I've already read it. So I also have a lot of physical titles to choose from, which means if you have any of them, you could choose from them too. There are quite a selection, and if I was very strict with myself and only went with the elemental words, I would only have 2 titles to read, and the first one would be Arthian. It's one that I really do want to read, and I haven't watched the anime. I think it's like an OVA or something. My friend did recommend it to me. They said you should really give it a go, but they're kind of thick and there's a lot to them, and so it is going to be quite an undertaking to try and get through Arthian, the whole of Arthian, in the month of October. But I do like the challenge of getting through a longer series. I would class this as quite a long series because these are thick. Then we have Love Water. It is prose, and I am trying to read more prose, and I have been reading loads of prose this year, so I'm very proud of myself in that respect. And I'm getting through my yaoi novels as and when I can. And so yes, Love Water is probably going to be on my TBR, which means I'm going to focus on those 2 titles for my TBR and try and get them done. And they do have the element words in the titles, which means I have quite a selection to try if I want to. I have to say, of the rest of the titles, I think, I do want to try Dick Fight Island. It just looks fun. Three Wolves Mountain I've already read, but like I said, it's a spooky season and it's a really good one to read in the spooky season. Dry Heat, it's a Yugi Yamada title. Once again, that would be a reread for me, but the rereads are usually easier and more fun because you kind of know what you're getting into. But the whole point of the Buzzword Readathon for me is to try and read things I haven't read yet. And there are a few in the stack that I haven't read. So, although the ones I'm gravitating towards are the ones that I have read. I do think that the Spiral of Sand by Yuna Aoi does look interesting. I love a revenge story. That's always fun. I love revenge. Revenge is one of my absolute favourite themes in any work. So yeah, I would probably want to try that one as a new title. But I do like Shushu Sakurai. I also just like saying her name, Shushu Sakurai. And I have read The Desert Prince, but I have not read Missing Road. So that might be something to read as well. Any of these titles, what do you think? What should I add to my TBR? There's certainly ones that I haven't read. Crimson Wind, Rising Storm, Missing Road, Rose of the Rhine, Love is Like a Hurricane. Is it worth it? It's 5 volumes, so that's quite an undertaking. And then there's Canis, Dear Mr. Rain. Intense Rain I'm definitely not reading. That semi can off, because he was a dick, and I don't think he deserved the uke in the end, and he got the uke in the end, and I was annoyed. So anyway, what do you think? Are there any here that I should definitely pick up in October, or are you planning on reading any of these in October and you'd like to do a buddy read with me? Because I think that would be fun. So if you have Arthian, you're like, hey, yeah, I want to read Arthian, or Love Water, I have Love Water, or any of the others, and you think, yeah, read that one, we'll read it together. Let me know. As usual, thanks for sticking with me to the end of this video. Like I said, if you've got any recommendations from this stack in front of me, or if you've got any other recommendations elsewhere that you think, why is she not talking about that? And I've forgotten, or I didn't have it, or it's a digital title, or if it's on one of the other like webcomics or something, let me know. I'd like some more recommendations for an element-based BL title for the month of October. Also, I've been reading a lot of male romance, so if you have any male romance titles that might have some elements in the title and you think, hey, she might be interested in that, love a bit of gay romance. My male romance reading has really improved a lot, so if you have any recommendations for me for that, I would really appreciate them, because I have increased my reading of prose, especially in the male romance section, quite significantly this year, and I'd love some more recommendations there as well. As I said, thanks for sticking with me to the end. I would love to hear what's on your Buzzword TBR for the month of October, or just generally for October. What are you reading? It is the spooky season after all. Have you got some good spooky reads lined up? I'd love to hear about it. I am 365-801 and I make videos about male romance, BL manga, yaoi, and all that good stuff. I hope you have a great reading month, and I'll see you in the next one. Remember, every day is a BL day. Bye!